All right, today we're going to dive into this really powerful idea called breath as evidence. Think of it as a way to escape something called the permission economy, which you'll see is a system that's kind of secretly running the show for a lot of us.
So, let me ask you this. Do you ever feel that quiet exhaustion? You know, like on a random Tuesday, there's just this constant low-grade hum of pressure? The feeling that you have to be impressive, that you have to figure out what everyone needs before they even ask, that you constantly have to prove you deserve your spot? If that sounds familiar at all, then you're almost certainly living inside the very system we're about to break down.
Well, guess what? That feeling, it actually has a name. So let's start with the diagnosis. We're going to call this condition the permission economy.
Now, here's the most important thing to get right off the bat. The permission economy, it's not some personal flaw you have. It's an invisible system we're all swimming in. It's like this marketplace where belonging isn't just a given. No, it feels like something you have to buy every single day with your performance.
And of course, a system like this comes with a hidden cost. It's been called a daily tax. Think about it. It's all that energy you spend over-functioning, right? Over-explaining every little decision, trying to keep everyone happy. You're basically paying a tax just to feel like you have the right to exist, to take up space. And man, is it exhausting.
So you might be wondering, how does this whole economy keep itself going? Well, it runs on this very specific and honestly pretty addictive cycle. It's called the approval loop.
Okay, so this loop is literally the engine of the permission economy. Here's how it works. It starts with a trigger. You know, like a weird email from your boss, a critical comment, or even just silence when you were hoping for some praise. That trigger kicks off the prove step. This is where you scramble to over-explain, or you work twice as hard, or you just try to make everyone happy. And for a second it works. You get this little moment of relief, like a temporary belonging hit. But, and this is the real trap, that relief creates dependence. The more you chase it, the more you need that validation from the outside just to feel okay.
And that brings us to the real hidden cost of this entire cycle. Because every single time you go looking for that relief outside of yourself, you're trading away a little piece of your own internal authority. You're giving up your own ability to trust yourself, to know what's true for you, without needing someone else to sign off on it. So, okay, that's the diagnosis. It's a bit heavy, right? But the good news is there's a way out. It all starts with this really fundamental shift in how we think, a total reframe. We're going to move from earning our space to just inhabiting it. And the key to this whole thing is seeing your breath as the credential. This right here, this is the absolute core of the whole idea. Think about it. Before you produce anything, before you prove yourself, before you perform for anyone, you just exist. That simple biological fact of you breathing in and out, that is the only evidence you need that you're allowed to be here. It's your first, most important credential.
Here's a fantastic way to think about it that makes it super concrete. The permission economy wants you to treat your worth like it's your resume, right? You got to constantly update it, prove your value, add new bullet points. But this new way of thinking asks you to see your worth as your birth certificate. A birth certificate doesn't ask, hey, am I useful enough to be here? No way. It just states a fact. I am already here. Your worth isn't an achievement, it's a given.
And what that really boils down to is this. You get to stop treating your life like a space you're just renting. You can stop auditioning for a role that you already have. Your existence, your right to be here, is just not up for negotiation. Period.
Okay, so this all sounds really good in theory, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we replace that old addictive approval loop? Well, we need a new protocol, a whole new operating system, and it's called the breath evidence loop.
This is the super practical step-by-step alternative. So next time you feel that trigger, that urge to start proving yourself, you're going to run this new program instead. First, you just breathe. That simple pause is enough to interrupt the old reflex. Second, you witness that urge to please, but you don't act on it. You just watch it. Third, you name your reality in like 10 words or less. Something simple like, I am at my limit right now. Fourth, you choose what to do from that place of clarity, not from fear. Fifth, you act, and this is key, without doing that little pre-approval dance where you check to see if everyone is okay with your choice. And finally, the most important part, you integrate. You actually notice, hey, I did the thing, and I'm still safe. I didn't need their permission after all.
So, what happens when you start running this new loop over and over again? Well, the outcome is this incredible, fundamental shift in your entire way of being. You actually move from a place of what's called hunger to a place of overflow.
Let's really break that down because it's a huge difference. Operating from hunger, that's that frantic, desperate energy of just trying not to be rejected. Your work is basically just a bid to feel safe. But when you contribute from overflow, you're grounded, you're present. The question in your head totally changes from how do I prove I'm valuable to something more like what does my energy, my breath want to put out into the world today? Your work stops being a desperate plea and starts being a genuine gift.
And really, this is the bottom line. Belonging stops being the finish line you're racing towards and instead becomes the launch pad you start from. You stop working so hard for connection and you start working from it, from a place where you know it's already there.
Okay, so what can you do with all this, like right now, today? Here's your practical takeaway. I just want you to start noticing that daily tax. Seriously, you don't have to fix a single thing yet. Just notice. Pay attention to how many times today you apologize for taking up space, or how often you over-explain a simple choice just to keep the peace. That's it. Just notice. That awareness is the first giant step.
And as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a big question to chew on. If you truly, deep down in your bones, believed that your belonging was a given, that it was totally secure and wasn't going anywhere, what would you do differently? What choices would you make?
Because ultimately, that's what this is all about. It's about shifting from earning your space to simply inhabiting it. You are already here. And your breath, well, that's the only evidence you'll ever need.